Commissioners, it's a new year, so let's silence our cell phones because I silence mine because I'm not buying dinner anymore. So. Commissioners,
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Present. Present. Present.
Present.
Present. Move for adoption of the agenda. Support. Aye.
Motion carries.
Hi there, can you hear me okay? My name is Bree Mogenberg. I'm from Mount Pleasant. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. Unfortunately, I haven't prepared anything. I've been very busy today, worked all day. This morning, however, I met with not with the school board, but with 3 school board members from Mount Pleasant Public Schools. If you're not aware, I've spearheaded a recall that we have going in town here. And I figured it was about time to seek some resolution for things that were taking place. A lot of the mandates that are happening right now, including the mask mandate, which of course you're probably all well aware that the masking mandate was actually the language that was in the recall petition. Hopefully you're all aware with that anyway. So in this discussion with them, there's some really interesting information that I shared with them. One of the very first things that I wanted to share with them, and really the point of the meeting, was to start bringing community together. And where we have all of this division that's taken place in the community, because we have people with beliefs over here and people with beliefs over here, the mask being a huge piece of this, especially in the schools, but also we're still doing this in our county buildings. We're still doing this in our city buildings. And if we are going to honor each other, and if we are going to be inclusive to everybody, we need to respect different opinions. And we now know, and it's been verified, that the mask doesn't stop the spread of COVID. It doesn't prevent you from getting it. And you're all probably well aware of people that have got it and they have masked all day. The vaccine is now available. If people want to do that, they can do that to protect themselves. If people want to wear a mask because they feel like it protects them, they can protect themselves. I think it's time we stop infringing on the beliefs of others that don't agree with masking, and we need to start respecting everybody. There are recommendations. There are not mandates in our local health department, our state health department. does not have a mandate. The local GIRESD, so the Gratiot Isabella County Schools, I went through all of the schools and all of the data, and you'll be very surprised to know that it very similarly mimics the state of Michigan. Those schools that strongly mask over half the time, which really almost all of the time, they have a rate of COVID percentage of students for the entire year. So cumulatively speaking, at 11%. The schools that have not required masking, they have a percentage of 10.6%. Masking versus non-masking. I think it's time we need to stop the mandates with the county. We are not in a state of emergency. People have the choice if they want to be safe and want to be protected, if they want to take the vaccine because it protects them from having stronger symptoms, they can do that. But it's not anybody else's job to decide that for me or for me to decide it for you. If it's a risk I want to take or anyone else wants to take, I really believe they need to be able to make that choice for themselves. And so I'm asking that you strongly consider your masking mandates and you allow those to be recommendations. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kim Fox. Just a couple of things. I've been watching the board meeting on the YouTube, and I just wanted to bring forward a few things. I found it very hard to hear. I know you've had trouble with the mics and all that. So I just wanted to bring that forward. And so I missed a lot of the speeches and that. I couldn't, and with the mask, after Bree, I couldn't tell who was talking. So I don't know if there's a way of showing on the screen, if you're going to wear your mask, what, you know, or take them down, announce your name or something, because I couldn't tell who was talking. I really had to look, see whose mask was moving, etc. And finally, I was going to call in and mention what I'm telling you now, but it wouldn't go in. And they go, oh no, there's nobody out there. So I was going to make some public comment on that. So I just wanted you to be aware of those items, you know, sort of housekeeping items. A couple of things I am interested in is the fiscal integrity of this county. I want to make sure the taxpayers are getting what they pay for. And a couple of items I want to bring forward that I just happened to notice. One, I thought you guys did a great job when you allowed the, I don't know, the deputy that the sheriff got on for a little bit more money, because it made sense, because the guy had experience, he'd been here before, and it just made good sense. One item I didn't understand is one of the commissioners brought up wanting to eliminate a job, and no one would even want to talk about it. Well, if you can save the county some money and the taxpayers, I think that's worth at least talking about. Nobody said eliminate, they just wanted to discuss it. But when I was listening in, it was, you know, and for the most part, I'm listening to the working session, because when I was here before, you guys said that was the nuts and bolts of this place, to look, you know, watch that instead of the final voting. So thank you for listening to my comments. I appreciate it, and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Dawn Betha. I see on the agenda that you are going to be electing your board chairperson and your vice chairperson. And I just would like to make a recommendation before you make that vote. I would think that Frank Engler or Jerry Jalazinski, either one would be great for either of those positions. So I just wanted to make that point.
we have organizational matters, election of officers.
Clerk Lux. I'd like to nominate Tobin Hope for chairperson of the Isabella County Board of Commissioners.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
Madam Clerk, I'd like to nominate Frank Engler for the chairman of the Board of Commissioners.
We have a second on that. Do we need a second on that? Need a second on? Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll close nominations, and since we have two, we'll do a roll call on this, correct? And does it matter who we start with? Okay. Yes,
We make a comment or not?
okay.
Okay, thank you. Off for a second. I'm usually fairly quiet and I did not write a speech, so I wrote some notes, so you guys are lucky on that point. Usually I turn down these nominations when I get them. I've had opportunities to probably serve on 15 different boards and organizations over the years. Largest being Greenstone. Chaired that. That was one of the fourth largest farm credit organizations in the United States. 5 billion in assets, down to the smallest. Our local Farm Bureau office is president, and got $5 compensation because the organization was in such poor shape that I ended up giving that back to the organization, trying to get them through. Like I said, sometimes I've never sought this position ever, any of my positions. I got a story, a former commissioner, John Haupt, was our president of our local Michigan Milk Producers Association. And we had a conflict. I was actually doing some lobbying for Farm Bureau in DC and happened to miss our local meeting. And when I came back, I was president. So sometimes that's how things happen. But I've turned down this position several times. There's a couple things that I thought I could use this platform to talk about where I'd like to see some changes to possibly the new chairman, and which we are going to have a new chairman. I've been on this board for 5.5 years, and sometimes I feel like the whole board is not making all the decisions all the time. So I would like to see some of that change a little bit. Probably one of the main reasons I decided to accept this nomination to run is what Mr. Fox actually brought up earlier. Something as chairman, I just found as a chairman, I would never do. And that is if any commissioner would ever come to me and want something put on an agenda item, especially if it's supported, it gets put on the agenda. We discuss it and it gets voted on, up or down. I don't care if it's as crazy as you want all the commissioners to whistle the Pledge of Allegiance instead of speaking it, but it will get discussed and it will get voted on. And I know it's probably not thinking about it and moving things on. And I don't like making decisions at the last moment. So I always, as chairman, I would always make sure that my board was well informed. We would not have to make very many decisions right away. I've served on boards at 17, 27, and one that was actually 40 people. And sometimes we have an executive committee that made some of the decisions. And those usually consisted of either 5 to 6 people. We're 7 commissioners here. This is the executive committee. No major decision should be made without all well talked about and well plan, and it shouldn't be expected to make the decision, 2 days or when you get the agenda or over the weekend. So part of that falls in. Oh, my mic got cut. Anyways, part of the decision, every year that I've been on the board, I've requested that we have a planning session. Now, in some of the other committees, we had actually 3-day planning sessions, which I don't mind, but we actually did have one, and I got more out of that. Not so much so we can actually look in the future, but just so that we, as fellow commissioners, can actually get together and talk about things and have an opportunity to plan ahead. I'm hoping going forward, we can plan some of them forward. I just think we're doing a disservice, and part of it is COVID. We've been stuck on these, but like I said, we have a new administrator now, new year, so maybe it's a chance we can look at a few things. Let me see, not too many long notes here, but part of the things I think we do is we find we're way too redundant on some of the stuff. And I hope Mr. Fox doesn't get upset that I'm bringing him up again, but he did bring up a couple points that there was actually in my notes here. And we have a work session and we have a general board session. It's almost, we do too much remotely. I would like to see actually some of the chair or the committees themselves. There are some items that we could move directly to the general session. Instead of having to do it at the work session and move them forward. That would give us some time to actually have a work session. Maybe bring up some topics that we need to work on. And actually, I would like to see the work session a little less formal. And if 2 or 3 guys want to talk at the same time, I think that would help. Because I think we need to understand from our fellow commissioners where we're talking. And like I said, we need to understand where we're going. I said, I do believe we have some challenges coming up. COVID put us back a little bit. We got the jail project coming up. So I really do think we need to do a lot more future planning than what we have to do. We got some fences to mend. And maybe in the work session, we can bring some of the department heads in here and maybe have a less formal. We got to do some mending with our treasurer. I mean, he's a big part. I think the communication was a lot better when it cost the county quite so much money. I mean, we just need to start doing that. We maybe, like I said, that would be a start to do that. We need to get that situation a little better than it is. So we're losing an asset there because we're adversity in there. So we need to start working on that. One other thing that we need to do, we've been looking at it, and this is for the next, not for this year, because we cannot change anything till next year, but we need to look at our compensation package. And I know it's not for this, but I know a lot of this board will be here after the next election, and the next chairman will make his life a lot easier if we actually start looking at how we compensate travel. And I have to admit that I might be one of the worst ones at going to some conferences and stuff, but we do actually, there's a lot of good at it. I've been to thousands of conferences with undercooked vegetables and some sort of meat covered with some sort of gravy that you got to kind of guess. But the interaction we have with our other commissioners from around is invaluable. So I think we maybe need to put a little more emphasis, maybe a little more pressure. Maybe we need to talk about that. We can talk about them before they happen, a week and a half before the deadline comes up to sign up. So maybe even start doing a rotational where we have some people show up. So I'll do a real quick recap. I guess, I'm looking for a few changes. If you like things the way we are, I'm probably not your guy. I believe my chairmanship, I believe as being more, not so much telling you what to do, but more as of a conductor. All the pieces fit together, and I try to use everybody on my boards to the best of their abilities. You know, Commissioner Delzinski was actually a department head at one time. Commissioner Moreno, if I have any questions on public health, those issues, he's the guy to go. Commissioner Hutchison, you've been a school board member. Of course, I've known you since high school, so we won't go any farther than that. Commissioner Horton has a law degree, definitely useful. Mr. Hope understands the college, CMU. And my partner in crime on the Criminal Justice Committee, Commissioner Sweeney, one of his thing is when I give him a bunch of crap, he gives it right back. And he's always the first one to tell me when I messed up. So it's a very well needed. So with that, I will end up saying that thanks for the time. Hopefully some of these ideas will grow a seed and we'll get some crops out of it anyway. So thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and do the call of it. Hutchinson,
I'd support Tobin Hope.
Engler,
I will support Engler.
Delzinski,
I'll support Commissioner Engler.
Marino, Sweeney,
Hope.
Hope, Commissioner Horton.
Tobin Hope.
We have 5 for Hope and 2 for Engler. Commissioner Hope, you are now nominated as chairperson.
Thank you, Clerk Lux, and thank you, commissioners, and Commissioner Engler, thank you. Your comments are well received. I tell you, when I got on this board in 2017, well, Frank and I started the same year in 2017. Something that George Green told me, he said, I don't see you as a Democrat or a Republican. He said, I see you as Tobin Hope. And he ran this board that way. And so did Commissioner Ling, and so did Commissioner Horton. And I intend to continue that, to run this board without partisanship, and to look at all of you commissioners as the fine public servants that you are, not a group of Democrats or Republicans. I think at this level of government, it doesn't make that much difference. There might be a lot of things beyond the county level that we don't agree on, but that I don't think that really matters. I think we're here to run the business of the county, and y'all are a good board. Y'all are fine public servants. With that, we'll move on to item number 2, election of vice chairperson for 2022. And I will open the floor for nominations for vice chair. Commissioner Engler.
I'd like to nominate Jim Horton for vice chair.
Or did any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none. Vice Chairman Horton, is you're elected as vice chair.
I believe we should do a vote, though, I believe.
Someone just needs to state that they'd like to cast a unanimous.
That's kind of what I was waiting for.
We don't need that. Sorry. And then second it.
Go ahead. I move to close nominations and cast a unanimous vote for Jim Horton as vice chair.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Cast a unanimous ballot for Commissioner Horton as vice chair. Commissioner Horton, congratulations.
Thank you very much. last year. I guess that last year was only a few days ago, but I decided not to seek chairmanship again because of some work difficulties that I'm having as far as conflict of times and everything. This is my 10th year on the board, and I look forward to serving the people in my district and the community of Mount Pleasant for the next year. I thank the board for electing me in this position or nominating me for this position. And I look forward to working with everybody for the next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, item B is adoption of Isabella County Board of Commissioners recommended bylaws and rules of procedure. Are there any proposed changes? Commissioner Jelazinski.
Just have a quick question. I know last year we did some slight modifications. They're probably more textual than anything else, but since we didn't receive anything, I suspect we're looking at just changing the date to have it apply to this year, and nothing else has changed in the document.
Correct.
I'm not sure why you
It-
didn't receive one for commissioners, but let me look through my copy.
It's linked to the agenda.
Oh,
Just the date.
okay.
Sure.
I messed up, didn't look at
Oh,
the
that's all I
agenda.
saw.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion then?
I'll move to adopt the 2022 Board of Commissioners recommended bylaws and rules of procedure.
Supported. We need a roll call for that, Madam Clerk. Nope. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. Very good. We have adopted the bylaws and rules of procedure. And next, C is approval of the 2022 board meeting schedule. Basically the same that we've been doing for the last few years, the first and third Tuesdays, and then the preceding Tuesday for the committee meetings. No change.
So I noticed that we do have a schedule for July 5th, which we normally don't have. That,
I think normally it's on the schedule, and several times we've voted to not meet on July
Mhm.
5th. But we've left it on the schedule just in case.
thank you.
Gotta cancel then schedule a new meeting.
Yep. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve the 2022 board meeting schedule.
Motion to approve the 2022 board meeting schedule.
And moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Hi,
Aye. Anyone opposed? Very good. We have a meeting schedule. Item D is concur with chairperson appointments to standing committees. Not a lot of changes there, but for finance and administration, Chairman Horton is chair. I'm sorry, Vice Chair Horton is chair. And Commissioner Jelazinski is a member. For criminal justice and county affairs, Engler is chair and Swaney is the member. Human Resources and Public Works, Commissioner Marino is chair, Commissioner Hutchinson is the member. Intergovernmental Affairs, Commissioner Marino is chair and Commissioner Hope is member. So that would be chairperson appointment to standing committees. We need a motion to concur with that.
Motion to concur.
Support.
And moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
hi.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we have our standing committees. Which brings us down to item E, concur with chairperson's appointment to committees. We have here to start off Airport Joint Operation and Management Board, be Administrator Controller Frost. Central Michigan Collegiate Recovery Education and Wellness, CMCREW Advisory Board, Commissioner Jelzinski. Central Michigan Community Mental Health Board, and I debated possibly appointing someone else to that, but it's one of the things that I've really been fascinated with, so I'm going to stay with that. So that would be Commissioner Hope. Excuse me. Central Michigan District Health Board be Hutchinson and Marino. City of Mount Pleasant DDA Board would be Administrator Controller Frost and Commissioner Jelzinski. City of Mount Pleasant EDC BRA Board, Administrator Controller Frost. City of Mount Pleasant LDFA Board, Administrator Controller Frost. City of Mount Pleasant Tifa Board would be Administrator Controller Frost and Commissioner Jelzinski. Community Corrections Advisory Board be Commissioner Marino. Council of Governments, Commissioner Swaney and Commissioner Engler. Cultural and Recreation Commission be Commissioner Swaney. E911 Advisory Board, Commissioner Hutchinson and Administrator Controller Frost. East Michigan Council of Governments would be Rederza and Newport. E. coli Ad Hoc Committee, the chair would be Commissioner Swaney and the member would be Commissioner Hutchinson. Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors, Commissioner Jelzinski. 8CAP Public Sector be Commissioner Marino. Great Lakes Bay, Michigan Workforce Development Board, Commissioner Horton and Administrator Controller Frost. Human Rights Committee, Commissioner Swaney. Local Emergency Planning Committee, Commissioner Horton and Administrator Controller Frost. Materials Recovery Facility Advisory Board, Commissioner Horton and Commissioner Engler. Medical Control Board be Commissioner Horton and Commissioner Engler. Middle Michigan Development Corporation, Administrative Controller Frost and Vice Chair Horton. Mid-State Health Network, Commissioner Marino and Commissioner Jelzinski. Michigan State University Extension Advisory Board, Commissioner Jelzinski and Commissioner Horton. Northern Michigan Association of Counties, Commissioner Jelzinski and Commissioner Marino. Parks and Recreation Committee, Commissioner Engler and Commissioner Hutchinson. Peak Programs, Safe Drug-Free Schools Advisory, be Commissioner Marino and Commissioner Swaney. Planning Commission, Commissioner Swaney. Region 7 Area Agency on Aging, Tom Moffett. And Remonumentation Advisory Committee would be Engler and Jelzinski. And finally, Solid Waste Management Citizens Advisory Board, Commissioner Jelzinski. That is the entirety of the appointments to committees. So at this time, I would entertain a
Mr.
motion
Chairman?
to approve. Yes, Commissioner.
Just something that occurred recently. It's one, I don't know if it was one of the early ones. It's a TIFA that only has one rep, and that's Administrator Frost. There is not a secondary person, and I think it was within the last month. They had to have a meeting, and Margaret was not available. They called me because they couldn't get a quorum. And so you may want to consider having an alternate for Administrator Frost in case she can't make it. I don't think they meet very often, but
So
What
the,
committee was that, Commissioner? Which committee was that?
it's the one that only the administrator is listed on
Yeah, Jerry, I'm
early
sorry.
part of the list.
Commissioner Hope, Vice
Yes.
Chair, I believe that's the City of Mount Pleasant Tifa Board.
I think so.
Yeah, you're appointed as the alternate on that one.
There's one that,
Is it the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority?
Oh,
There is no, it says not applicable, but certainly chairman could assign an alternate.
Yeah, we'll assign,
up with a quorum, but it was very narrow.
well, if it's okay with you, Mr. Jelazinski, would you serve as an alternate on that?
I would.
Thank you.
This be also considered the EDC? Is that
Yes.
what-
Okay. Any other comments? Yes.
Chairman Hope, I noticed you didn't mention an alternate for East Michigan Council of Governments.
Michigan Council of Governments had Maderza and Newport.
Correct.
So Maderza would be the member and Newport is the alternate.
Okay, I thought there was 2 members plus an alternate.
Oh. Yep, I'm sorry. So Maderza and Newport are both members, and then we need an alternate on that. And Ms. Frost, if you would serve as an alternate on that committee,
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
greatly appreciated. Anything else? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve chairperson.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, item number 6 is committee reports, of which we have none. Item number 7 is unfinished business, which we have none. Item number 8, new business, which we have none, which brings us down to general public comment. Is there anyone for general public comment? Yes, Ms. Mogenberg.
Oh, right. Zoom. Can you hear me okay? Thank you. I love the fact that there's 2 opportunities for public comments. So I wanted to say congratulations to Mr. Hope and Mr. Horton. I really hope that moving forward, I didn't say that like there was no pun in that. So, but I do really hope that moving forward in your positions that we're able to start looking as a bipartisan board and start considering everybody. And I'm going to go back to honoring everybody and respecting beliefs that everybody has. And that's really how we honor each other. And as a community, that's how our community pulls together. So I'm going to go back to the masking again, masking policy. So I'm not sure if there's a very clear directive when a public citizen walks into a county building. So back at the end of the summer, in regards to the recall processes and everything that was taking place, I had walked in to the county clerk building and I needed to take care of some paperwork that was there. And as I walked in, the bailiff, maybe, if you will, I'm not sure whom's sitting in the, okay. So the bailiff, of course, looked at me and said, "I'm sorry, you need to mask up." And I said, "I'm sorry, do you require that for an exemption?" He says, "We don't allow exemptions. You need to step outside right now." Do we not allow exemptions? And if we're not allowing exemptions, that's problematic. And also, I would really hope that exemptions are being allowed for employees. But take that even a step further. I know that a big piece of what you all deal with here is finances. The splash guards are not effective. If you want to mandate something that could possibly be helpful, I suggest look into the N95 mask. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but I think one of you maybe on the board does a lot of that medical research, and the N95 would possibly potentially be effective. So if you do want to look into safety, I'm going to ask that it be added to an agenda and actually maybe even a work session so that we can hear discussion that takes place on it. But financially, it would be your decisions in the county buildings to do something that would be really helpful and look at really really terrific ventilation systems. And I'm sure a lot of people that are here would be able to provide that information. But this would remove any other concerns that would possibly have to do with the masking. And when the masks are gone, everything that goes along with the masks are gone as well, and the disruptions and everything that it causes. So just to recap very quickly, really the end thing that I'm asking for, of course, as a public citizen that did actually just move to Bamber Road into, I believe, what used to be Horton's area that is now Engler's area. I would love at some point to make position to help make move on the board. That's not going to happen, so that's not what I was saying. But I'm asking you all to please consider citizens' request that this is added to the agenda to discuss the splash guards, because the effectiveness of them is not there, and the vaccines are available to anybody that wants them. And also in this discussion, as a citizen, to be told that there is no exemption for me and I cannot enter the building without a mask. That was actually very problematic, and I didn't cause scene, and I found solution for it very quickly. But if you could add those to the agenda, and I maybe should have asked that first, and so maybe it will take a few weeks, but I really do think that it's important with everything that's going on. So again, I appreciate the second opportunity to talk. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want to be clear, my understanding is we are in a state of emergency according to Isabella County Commission. If you could either answer me here, or if you can send me an email. Some of you have my email address. I know you do, because I've sent emails to you. And so if anybody could answer that clearly, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Anyone else for general public comment? I don't see anyone else. Do we have anyone, Michelle, do we have anyone online? There's no public online, so we will move on to announcements. Commissioners, the announcements, Commissioner Jelesinski.
I prepared a written statement, so my thoughts to be organized, and I'd like to quickly read that. I'm going to take this off. I'll try not to breathe on you. Things I'd like the Board of Commissioners to accomplish in 2022. The first one is a review of the duties and financial costs related to the Deputy County Administrator and Contractual Financial Manager positions. Our new County Administrator has the experience and personal knowledge of how these positions function, and whether or not a cost savings is possible through a modification of the current system. What's to lose? Perhaps some time and effort if we maintain the status quo. But what's the gain? Possibly improved staff structure and a cost savings. We're about ready to pull the trigger on a very expensive jail project that's going to tap our resources for many, many years in the future. And there is nothing wrong with looking at ways of saving money in the current situation. Number two, establishment. And I'm sure that Commissioner Engler must have been looking over my shoulder when I was preparing.
I didn't copy.
The establishment of an ongoing goal-setting workshop. Goal setting is important because it provides an opportunity to figure out what's really important to an organization. It allows for clarity on what a group wants to achieve, measures progress, and identifies procrastination. By goal setting, you can identify what you want to achieve and put a plan in place to get you there. Finally, it holds members accountable. And I'm not saying we hold one person accountable. We have administration, we have the board. We need to work as a team. And if we work in a successful manner, we can all share in the glow of victory. If something turns south, then we all can share that. It takes the stress off of any one individual. The current structure of committee reviews, work sessions, and regular meetings simply does not provide adequate time to discuss and establish meaningfully common accepted goals. It is a reactive way to conduct business. Let's meet annually outside the normal meeting structure to be proactive when it comes to important county issues. Number three, work to mend the relationship between the Board of Commissioners and offices of elected officials. The former administration, I believe, worked to build a wall between the county board and some elected officials, especially the office of county treasurer. When I asked the past county administrator about whether she consulted with the treasurer on an issue dealing with the delinquent tax fund, her answer was no. And when I asked why not, she said it'd be a waste of time. I guess I was astonished by that answer. We may not like to hear what is said, but open communication on matters of importance is never a waste of time. In a past conversation with one of the commissioners here, the commissioner said he didn't like Treasurer Pickens. Didn't understand if it was personal or if it's somehow related to the lawsuit, but these kind of attitudes need to stop. They are really destructive of good governance. And I know that there are hard feelings right now in the county, throughout the county, and somehow we need to bring that to some kind of conclusion. And I do believe that knowing our new administrator, Nicole Frost, that she's going to have that type of personality management style to help mend these fences, broken fences. The fourth and final is establish an effective American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, outreach committee. The former administrator created a committee comprised of her direct reports and one elected official, and that's Sheriff Maine. At the time she informed the county board of the committee membership, I suggested that at least one county board commissioner be assigned to the committee. The administrator publicly responded by saying having a legislative member on the committee would be disruptive to the process. I really missed the opportunity at that point to ask, destructive in what way? When are more ideas destructive to any process? Why isn't singular control of the process by county administration not in itself destructive? Almost finished. ARPA guidelines require that fund recipients reach out to the community at large for guidance on how to spend its funding. Isabella County has not done this in any meaningful way. I attend township meetings. I attend the meetings of county COG and also the combined township board. And I know that local units of government, especially our rural county townships, are confused by the federal process and would welcome guidance. This is a time for county leadership and perhaps use of some of the county's remaining ARPA funding as a match to local government ARPA funding to address countywide health and safety issues. This will never happen without a more inclusive outreach committee structure. The optics of going alone does not reflect well on Isabella County government. It's past time to change direction and engage others to determine the best way to use ARPA funding to best serve our county residents. In conclusion, I am excited about Nicole Frost's administration of Isabella County government. I've known Ms. Frost for many years, well before we moved from Parks and Recreation Management to local and county government management. Without a doubt in my mind, she will be a dedicated and effective county administrator. More than that, her teamwork management style will be refreshingly different than what we've experienced in the past. Speaking for all county members of the County Board of Commissioners, we look forward to working with you, Nicole, to accomplish much in 2022 and beyond. And welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners? Any other announcements? Okay, I would just like to wish everyone a happy new year. A lot of good suggestions were brought up tonight by Commissioner Jalzinski and Commissioner Engler. All those are well received. I appreciate some of the public coming and speaking in the manner in which you spoke politely, and it's very much appreciated. I like hearing from you, and I appreciate you being here. And I look forward to working with our new administrator controller in 2022. So happy New Year. And with that, we will adjourn at 7:49 PM.
Computer keeps wanting me to restart every